So you're thinking about a career as an ICT Quality Assurance Manager. Talk about a field that's absolutely exploding right now. It seems like every company out there is pushing out tech upgrades faster than ever.
It's incredible. And what's fascinating is how much the emphasis has shifted. It used
Mm.
to be all about just finding and fixing bugs after the fact. But now it's about building that culture of quality from the very beginning, right from the get-go of a project.
That makes a lot of sense. But how does an ICT Quality Assurance Manager actually make that happen in the real world? I mean, what are they actually doing day to day?
Okay, so imagine like a complex software launch, right?
Yeah.
You've got your developers, obviously, they're writing the code, and then you have your testers who are putting it through its paces, making sure it doesn't break. And then, of course, the security team is making sure there are no vulnerabilities, no backdoors for the bad guys.
Right. Got to have that.
Yeah, so the ICT Quality Assurance Manager, they're like the conductor of an orchestra. They make sure all of these different teams, all these moving parts are working together in sync to deliver a flawless product at the end.
So they're not just laser focused on one little piece of the puzzle then.
Exactly. It's a much broader role than that. They're responsible for establishing a really robust quality approach, but for the entire project lifecycle. That means designing and implementing things like quality management systems, think ISO certifications, industry best practices, all that good stuff.
Making sure everything is up to snuff.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It has to align with both the organization's own internal standards, what they've set for themselves, as well as all those external regulations, which we know can be a lot to keep track of.
Oh, absolutely. So they're thinking about the big picture of the long game, but also diving into the nitty-gritty of how things should work at every single stage of the process.
Exactly. They need to have a really deep understanding of all the different quality management methodologies out there. Like one example would be Six Sigma. You've probably heard of that. It's super popular right now.
I've heard of it, yeah. Not exactly sure what it is, though.
Basically, it's all about reducing defects, making things as close to perfect as possible, and minimizing any variation in processes.
So everything runs smoothly and consistently like a well-oiled machine.
You got it. And that's why this role, an ICT Quality Assurance Manager, it's becoming so critical, especially in today's, well, let's face it, kind of crazy, fast-paced tech world.
It does sound like a pretty demanding job, to be honest.
Not
You're responsible for so much.
Yeah.
So what does RoleCatcher say about the pros and cons, the good, the bad, and the maybe a little bit ugly of being an ICT Quality Assurance Manager?
Well, they actually do a really good job of laying it all out there, giving you the full picture. On the plus side, and this is a big one, the demand for these professionals is through the roof right now.
Yeah, I've been hearing that. Everyone wants to hire an ICT Quality Assurance Manager.
It's true. And that, of course, means really competitive salaries and just amazing opportunities, to work with some of the latest and greatest tech out there, always being on the cutting edge.
So if you love being at the forefront of innovation, always tinkering with the newest gadgets and software, this could be a really good fit.
Yeah.
What about the downsides, though? You mentioned those. What are some of the challenges you might face in this role?
Well, and this is just the reality of it. The buck often stops with the ICT Quality Assurance Manager, right? They are the ones who are ultimately responsible for making sure those systems, and these can be, mission critical systems we're talking about here, they have to make sure those systems are rock solid, that they work flawlessly, and that the data, which, let's be honest, is often very sensitive data, is protected.
It's a big responsibility.
It is. It's a high-stakes environment for sure, especially these days with all the scrutiny on data security and privacy, making sure everything is locked down tight.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Are there any specific skills that you think are absolutely crucial for handling those kinds of challenges?
Oh, absolutely. Strong analytical skills are non-negotiable. You have to be able to look at complex data, really dig in, identify patterns and trends, and ultimately pinpoint the root cause of a quality issue.
Like a detective almost.
Exactly. But here's the thing. It's not enough to just be good with numbers, a real data whiz.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. You probably have to be a pretty strong communicator as well,
Yeah.
right? Being able to explain those technical details to people who might not be as tech savvy.
100%. An ICT Quality Assurance Manager, they're kind of like the bridge between those really technical teams, the coders, the developers, and those non-technical stakeholders, management, clients, users who need to understand what's going on. So yeah, being able to translate that tech speak into plain English, that's critical.
So it's about being a translator, but also being able to advocate for quality improvements.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone understands why it's so important.
Exactly. You've got to be able to make a strong case, back it up with data, and really rally people around those quality initiatives. And let's not forget about attention to detail. That's another big one. A single overlooked issue, even something that seems tiny at the time, can snowball into a major, major problem down the line.
I can only imagine, especially when you're working under tight deadlines and things are moving a mile a minute.
It's true. That's why having strong organizational skills is so important. Being able to juggle multiple projects, prioritize tasks, and just stay on top of everything. And of course, you have to be able to manage stress effectively because it's definitely a fast-paced field, always changing. You've got to be able to think on your feet, adapt to new situations, and keep a cool head under pressure.
Okay, so we've talked about the skills, the challenges, the pressure. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But let's say someone is listening to this. They're intrigued. They're like, yeah, I think I could do that. I want to be an ICT Quality Assurance Manager.
Yeah.
Where did they even begin? What are those first steps?
Well, the good news is RoleCatcher actually provides a really, really helpful roadmap for anyone who's just starting out, kind of figuring out how to break into this field. And one of the things they emphasize, which I think is so smart, is the importance of getting practical experience, even if it's not, some glamorous management role right out of the gate.
So like internships, entry-level positions, that sort of thing. Just getting your foot in the door.
Exactly. Because it's all about, getting your hands dirty, really learning the ropes of quality management, but in a real world setting with real projects, real deadlines, all of that. And another thing they mentioned, volunteering.
Volunteering.
Yeah, like volunteering for quality improvement projects within your current organization. That's a fantastic way to gain practical experience, even if it's not your official job title. And it shows initiative, you're going above and beyond.
It's like, hey, I'm serious about this. I'm willing to put in the extra work.
Mm-hmm.
And you're building up a portfolio of projects that you can then point to. Like, look what I've done. Look at the results I've achieved.
Exactly. It's all about, building that credibility.
Absolutely. Now, what about certifications? We haven't talked about those yet, but I know RoleCatcher mentioned them as being pretty important in this field.
They can definitely give you a leg up, especially as you start to move up in your career. Looking at those more senior level roles. A couple of the big ones, the ones I always recommend people look into, are the Certified Quality Auditor, the CQA, and then the Certified Quality Engineer, or CQE. Those are really well-respected certifications.
It's like earning a badge of honor, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I've got the skills, I got the knowledge, I've proven myself. What about someone who's maybe a bit further along in their career, though? They're already in a management role. Maybe they've even got a few of those certifications under their belt. How can they continue to level up? How can they stay ahead of the game?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and this is true for any career really, but especially in tech, is continuous learning. Technology is always evolving, new trends are emerging, so you can't just rest on your laurels, You've got to stay curious, keep learning.
It's easy to fall behind if you're not careful.
Exactly. So attending industry conferences, those are always a goldmine of information. Participating in webinars, even looking into, more formal education like a master's degree in software quality assurance, all of that can be incredibly valuable.
And I imagine networking is a big part of it too, right? Building relationships with other professionals,
Yeah.
learning from their experiences, sharing best practices.
100%. I mean, you can learn so much from your peers, from people who are facing the same challenges as you. Maybe they've found some creative solutions. Mentorship, that's huge too. And, RoleCatcher, they actually have some really cool features built into their platform that can help with that, connecting with people.
Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about those features yet. We've been so focused on the career information. But you mentioned earlier that RoleCatcher has some pretty cool AI-powered tools.
They do. And these are really game changers. They have this one tool. It helps you tailor your resume, to specific job descriptions. It helps you use the right keywords so you're not just, throwing something out there and hoping for the best. It actually helps you get noticed.
Oh, wow.
And then they have another feature. It's for interview practice. You can actually record yourself answering common interview questions, and then the AI will give you feedback on your performance.
Wow, that's amazing. That's like having a personal career coach right there in your pocket. So for anyone listening who's feeling a little bit overwhelmed, maybe they're not sure where to start, RoleCatcher sounds like an incredible resource to check out.
It really is. And the best part is they offer free and paid tiers. So you can explore the platform, see what it's all about, see if it's a good fit for you without having to commit any money up front.
That's fantastic. Well, there you have it, folks. We've done a deep dive on the role of an ICT Quality Assurance Manager. It's a challenging role, for sure, but it's also incredibly rewarding, incredibly in demand, and honestly, it's only going to become more important as technology continues to evolve. So if you're ready to jump into a field where you can truly make a difference, where you can be at the forefront of innovation, this could be the perfect path for you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, quality is everyone's responsibility, but it really does take a skilled, dedicated ICT quality assurance manager to champion it, to build that culture of excellence from the ground up.
Such a good point. So for our listeners out there, what's one small step you can take today to explore your interest in ICT quality assurance? Maybe it's visiting RoleCatcher's website. Maybe it's reaching out to someone in your network, someone who's already working in the field, just to pick their brain. Every journey starts with a single step. Until next time, happy learning, everyone.